the smartest film critic in the world, Cole Smithy.
Hi, this is Cole Smithy with ColeSmithy.com and your guide to what to see and what to avoid at the movies this week. Alejandro Jodorowsky is much more than a mad genius of cinema. The artist and filmmaker who created El Topo, the experimental surrealist film that started the midnight movie craze in 1970, has lived a life full of such enthusiastic artistic creation that his very existence defies all expectation.
Una película que diera las alucinaciones de LSD. Say to me, I want to make a new picture with you.
Apart from creating some of the most transgressive films ever made, see Holy Mountain and Santa Sangre, he has directed over 100 plays and written more than 100 books, plays, and comic books. Yodo, as his friends call him, developed his own form of tarot-derived therapy entitled psychomagic after the death of his third son Teo at the age of 24 in order to heal psychological wounds suffered in life. At 85, Jodorowsky has the energy and drive of a young man. He wants to live to be 300. A more articulate and forceful mind you are not likely to find. You would have to combine Werner Herzog, Klaus Kinski, and Paul Verhoeven into the same person to even get close. It will come as a great surprise to many avid filmgoers that before David Lynch directed the cinematic abomination Dune in 1984, it was Alejandro Jodorowsky who was originally slated to make the film version of Frank Herbert's celebrated science fiction novel. Having made $1 million 70s-era dollars on El Topo, and having received global critical praise, Jodorowsky had carte blanche to tackle any project he wanted. Based on a friend's glowing impression of Dune, Jodorowsky chose his next movie without even reading the book. He set about putting together the most talented production designers, artists, musicians, and actors he could find. Jodorowsky spent the next 2 years storyboarding the entire film frame for frame. Documentarian Frank Pavich struck cinematic gold when he got the blessing from Jodorowsky and Dune's former producer, Michel Sardou, to make a movie about Jodorowsky's journey to make the film.
Giger nunca había hecho películas. I say to Giger, I need you as you are.
Alejandro completely motivated you. It was wonderful.
We will change the world.
Here is the alternate history of two doomed films, the awful one released to audiences and the brilliant one that was never made. An interview clip with Nicholas Winding Refn finds the Danish enfant terrible director of Drive telling about an evening that he and his wife spent with Jodorowsky in his home. After dinner, Yodo took out a large, thick book that contained concept sketches, color-designed drawings of costumes and spaceships, and pencil-sketched storyboards for every single frame of the film that Jodorowsky never made. Refn describes the personalized experience of seeing Dune through Jodorowsky's book-assisted verbal explanation as awesome. Like Refn, the audience is shepherded through Jodorowsky's Dune via the director's exuberant descriptions given during animated interview sessions set mainly inside his Parisian apartment. The white-haired Jodorowsky switches between French, Spanish, and English as he displays his copy of the legendary, all but priceless Dune book, copies of which were given to the heads of every major American film studio in a pitch effort to obtain the missing $5 million necessary to meet the film's projected $15 million budget that would allow for American distribution. Jodorowsky commissioned the French graphic novelist Moebius, aka Jean Girard, to draw the film's storyboards, which Pavich utilizes in close-up to take the viewer in a full-screen version of how the film would have looked. The effect is convincing. Tales of Jodorowsky convincing David Carradine, Mick Jagger, Udo Kier, Orson Welles, and a haughty Salvador Dali to act in the film give credence to the director's sensitive gift of charm to tame even the most outrageous personalities. This documentary's hook lies in the incontestable influence that Jodorowsky's book version of Dune had on so many films that followed, the most obvious of which is Alien. Although Jodorowsky was never able to bring his ambitious vision to fruition, seeds of his and his artist's ideas continue to bloom.
I want to create a prophet to change the young mind of all the world.
Jodorowsky'S Dune is the closest any audience can come to experiencing that vision, and a damned impressive adventure it is. I give this exciting documentary an A. My sleeper pick is the terrific romantic drama Just a Sigh, and my guilty pleasure pick is Lars von Trier's Nymphomaniac Volume 1. My must-have DVDs are Punk in Africa from MVD. Blue is the Warmest Color from Criterion, and Mr. and Mrs. Murder Series 1 from Acorn. It took a team of 3 writer-directors, Jim Abrams, David, and Jerry Zucker, to run with the comic baton that Mel Brooks temporarily passed along after High Anxiety. Spoofing disaster films that were all the rage in the 70s was an obvious choice for a team of filmmakers looking to apply a kitchen sink approach to getting laughs. Having worked together in the theater group they founded, the Kentucky Fried Theater, the filmmaking trio, known as Zaz, found inspiration in a 1957 feature drama dubbed 0 Hour, starring Dana Andrews, Linda Darnell, and Sterling Hayden. Throwing non-stop jokes, gags, and snarky movie references at the wall proved a surefire method for getting humor to stick, slip, and split wide open. Much of Airplane's success can be attributed to its casting of well-established older television actors in eccentric roles. Most of them were dramatic actors that had never done comedy before. Peter Graves was a household name from his long-running stint on TV's Mission Impossible, in which he played Jim Phelps, the head of a super-secret government spy agency. In Airplane, Graves plays commercial pilot Captain Lawrence Over. Get it, Captain Over? He's a sex-obsessed white-haired fellow who reads a dirty magazine titled Modern Sperm in the whacking material section of the airport newsstand before taking a call on the white courtesy phone from the Mayo Clinic from a doctor whose office is filled with jars of mayonnaise, just in case the sperm reference wasn't enough. Well, I did say kitchen sink. Once in the cockpit, Captain Over gets a visit from Joey, a young freckled-faced passenger that the stewardess brings into the cabin to receive a toy Boeing 707. The warped captain asks Joey, "You ever been in a cockpit before?" Before delving deeper, have you ever seen a grown man naked? The presence of Los Angeles Lakers basketball center Kareem Abdul-Jabbar flying the plane from the co-pilot seat distracts Joey. Kareem tries to keep up the ruse that his name is Roger Murdoch, but Joey knows better. Kareem lets down his guard. The film's mixed bag of cultural references spill out faster than you can catch them. One of the funniest cameo bits comes from Barbara Billingsley, widely known to television audiences as the Beaver's mom, June Cleaver, from the long-syndicated situation comedy Leave It to Beaver. The plane's stewardess is unable to understand a couple of black passengers, one of whom is in visible pain. With her gray hair set in an expensive coif, Billingsley's helpful passenger offers her assistance. "Oh, stewardess, I speak jive." She goes on to translate the men's request for medical assistance before conversing with them on their own terms. It's a comic bit that never gets old.
Chump don't want to help, Chump don't get the help. Jive ass dude don't got no brains anyhow.
Although the filmmakers attempted to replicate the film's enormous box office success with a sequel and a host of other spoof movies, Airplane soars high above them all. Thanks for watching, and visit ColeSmithy.com for more.